Something is seriously wrong with the world right now, and you must know about this. The stock market has reached an all-time high all around throughout these few years, but no one seems to get richer. Housing has become super expensive to the point where a lot of people can't afford it. Debt is exploding, and prices are rising like crazy, but yet we're being told it is a normal occurrence. AI is innovating in an incredibly exponential rate where we can't even properly predict how it would be in the next few years. We're being told that AI can help us create everything that we can imagine. That sounds empowering, but yet, is that really so? Now we have to ponder upon a question that really, where we have to think about where this is the end of an era where we can actually build our own wealth based off our lifetime and not where we start with. We have to start thinking that maybe if everyone can do the same, no one will change and no one will get the chance to change in the future. And now to my first point, which I'm going to give some context to what I'm about to say by explaining the simple concepts of an economy and what we're going through right now. So the simple concept of an economy is that we're supposed to have cycles, right? We can have growth and then we'll have downturns and then we'll try to balance it back. So basically this runs in a cycle where economy can go up, it can go down, and it will stabilize. However, because the US government and the Fed, they don't want to go through this. In certain times, sometimes it's understandable because you are put in a tight situation, perhaps by your people or by geopolitical pressure, which I won't get into, but they're unwilling to do this. So what happens is that they would lower rates or they would print money, which would cause something in the economy to disrupt, and that would ruin the cycle. And by printing a lot of money, it is not making it better in the economy, even though it feels like there's more money in the economy, but it's not actually better. It's dilution. A perfect explanation for this is that every US dollar that was printed in the world, 40% of it was printed after 2020. So that is ridiculous amount, almost 50%. And that means that if the US dollars was not as strong as it was, the money would be incredibly diluted, and it means that the value would very much plummet. This is why you see like a few things happening, such as when the money is printed, it first goes to financial markets, then it goes to government spending, then it goes to like asset prices. And ultimately, whoever owns this would get richer, and you get what I mean. This is why, right, stocks, real estate, gold, silver, commodities, and even debts has reached an all-time high in the recent years. And if you rely on assets, then you would seem richer, which is why a lot of people invest in these kind of assets to grow their wealth or to preserve their wealth. But if you rely on active income or you rely on constantly your next paycheck, then your spending power would definitely erode because you can't keep up with the printing. Because like I said, when you print money, the money is not distributed equally. And you are just getting the same amount while money is starting to exist more and more, if you get what I mean. And now to my second point, which is the K-shaped economy. I also recently came across this concept, and what it means is that a K and the upper point represents the rich people and the lower point represents the rest of the people. Just to put it in comparison, right now the top 10% of the people in the entire world contributes to 50% of roughly 50% of consumer spending in the entire world. Basically 50% of expenses of the entire world. Well, the rest of the 80% only contributes to about 37% of consumer spending. With that statistic alone, you can tell like how big of a gap in earning there is and how their lives are different. right? There's also a rough dividing income line for about $175,000 per household. Above it, spending continuous luxurious things also keep rising for like luxurious traveling, expensive weddings, so on, so on. So inequality is very evident for a long time already. But the thing is, in the past, what's different is that we have inefficiencies. And that inefficiency is the opening to opportunities. People always constantly try to cover up parts that are not efficient in this world. And that's where opportunity lies, right? Where you make something more efficient and you make and use that to create opportunity for yourself, provide a service or something. However, that's the problem. In this generation, it's different. And that's where AI comes in. Which leads to my third point, which is AI and its risk of a frozen economic future. So what this means is that AI is advancing at such a rate, like I've said before, to the point where there's almost nothing that AI can't do anymore. In the future, we're not thinking about what can AI do, we're more thinking about what can we do that AI cannot do. See, that's the point of view where we have to think about because of how much AI has come, right? AI can already write codes, build websites, create content, analyze financial markets, automate workflow, optimize systems, often faster and cheaper than humans. Just like exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do with Tesla, right? Because Insight says that he already has multiple AI robots working in the Gigafactory 24/7, which since he built it, you can know might as well that that thing is there forever and it's there to stay, and he has already built it, so it's cheap. You don't have to pay it monthly as a salary, right? So that thing is going to be cheap and it's definitely going to make back your money because of the productivity that it provides, since it's 24/7, by the way. And when everyone gets access to this same tool, people that already has capital is going to be at an advantage, because all they have to do is use it to make their system runs even more smoothly, right? And they can earn even more money because of increase in productivity. But now, people that don't have capital, they're the ones in trouble because they can't become better. AI has already taken away the space of being better, because moving forward, being creative, creating something, it's not going to be much different from what AI can do. There's near nothing that AI cannot do, which is why I say that buying assets and having capital is the future to go, because most people, even if you are creative, you can't move forward in the future where AI won't do something better than you in any way, because the problem of inefficiency, it just disappears. Some people believe that this really scary time could come in the next 8 to 12 months. Well, I would say that I wouldn't be surprised if something like this were to happen in 8 to 12 months, but I would say when it globalizes, maybe give it 5 years to 7 years. And that 5 to 7 years is the exact gap, I would say, that you would have to earn money. In fact, 5 to 7 years is highballing it. So the best chance you have is the next few years to earn as much money as you can and automate yourself, and that would be the most ideal way to move forward. If not, your opening to earn money might just shut off. Well, of course, this is only one partial potential outcome that might happen. I mean, if you just predict a little bit further, you also realize that because most people don't even get to work anymore, you would think that since everything from the bottom up, the process is going to be much cheaper, then the production would also be cheaper and the product would be much cheaper. But by the time that happened, does most people even have money to spend? That's the problem as well. And if you rely on income and saving, then you will be in huge trouble. Which is why this opening is so important. Lastly, to my fourth point, which is a closing window. This brings us to a really uncomfortable question where we have to ask ourselves, are we approaching the final phase where economic mobility has come to an end? Where you start from, the ownership of where you start from, is more important than what you become. What I'm trying to say is maybe there are some Nepo babies out there which are far different in capability compared to you and far less aware of what the world is going on and far less capable of what you're able to do, but that doesn't matter because they can do exactly the same thing as you do, despite the fact that you are technically much more capable at doing it yourself, but we don't have to do it ourselves anymore. I mean, of course, there's still gonna be a phase where everyone's gonna be different in capability because there are people out there that are more skillful in using AI, which is also one of your openings in the next few years if you can be better at using AI. But eventually that time is also going to come to an end where AI will be just so efficient to the point where it just does not require any more improvement in capability of using this tool because of how efficient it is. Something like that. And that's where the window will close. Which is why when I say ownership, it doesn't only mean one thing. It could mean like stocks, real estates, businesses, intellectual properties, gold, silver, or digital assets. These things are the things that would last longer, if you know what I mean. And we need something scarce and productive. Bitcoin is a lot of times put in a picture because it is something that has proven to grow a lot throughout the entire years that he has existed, right? Even when it is not as productive as it was in the past, it is still something that is ever growing and it's something that can help you preserve the value of your money since the fiat currencies are becoming less and less valuable towards the future because of the massive printing and all. Which is why I feel like if in the future you want to still remain in a comfortable state, you have to own assets and things that are not always active incomes, but you really need some passive stuff, something that is already ongoing instead of something that you are actively trying to get it going, if you know what I mean. So in conclusion, no one actually knows what's going to happen in the next few years. We just know that it is very evident right now that it's very possible that the economy might freeze in place in the next few years, meaning that the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, where everyone is in a state where they can only work with what they're given and that will never change ever again. Of course, this might never happen, but we do want to avoid this since all the evidence are pointing towards the fact that this is very much possible because how AI gives everyone abundance, which only the rich will be able to create and use it to the maximum efficiency because they have the capital to do so, which is why I hope you and I can get massively rich in the next few years as well. There's no need to be completely humble here so that we can enjoy the life that we want to enjoy as well. And why I say this is because based on what is happening right now, a bunch of labor is already being replaced by AI, which is a turning point in the entire world for sure. It is definitely a turning point, but we are not exactly sure where it's turning to. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Well, that's all from me today. I hope you all enjoy this future together by advancing and learning together on this YouTube channel that I've created. This is purely educational. I hope we can both grow together. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, then there's no need to. But I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.